HIEI, a name taken from Japan's sacred Mount Hiei, one of the holiest places in the country. But in World War I and II, it belonged to one of Japan's most powerful warships. Hiei was the second ship of the Kongō-class battlecruisers, designed by famed British naval architect George Thurston. Her name symbolized spiritual strength, but her steel body was built for war. She was ordered in 1911 and built at the Yokosuka Naval Arsenal. Laid down on the 4th of November, 1911, launched a year later, and commissioned in August 1914. At 222 meters long and displacing over 36,000 tons, Hiei was one of the most heavily armed ships of her time, carrying 8 14-inch guns, 16 6-inch guns, and torpedo tubes. During World War I, she patrolled off China, but her most notable early contribution came in 1923, when she helped rescue survivors of the Great Kanto earthquake. To avoid scrapping under the Washington Naval Treaty, Hiei was converted into a training ship in 1929, but when the treaty collapsed in 1937, she returned to full power, rebuilt from the keel up with a new superstructure, modern engines, and aircraft catapults. She became fast enough to escort Japan's aircraft carriers. She was the second ship of the Kongō-class battlecruisers, all designed by British naval architect George Thurston. This ship was ordered after Britain launched HMS Invincible. Japan wanted a ship that could compete with any major navy, and Hiei delivered. Heavily armed and heavily armored, and far superior to any Japanese capital ship afloat at the time. Hiei's keel was laid down on the 4th of November, 1911 at Yokosuka Naval Arsenal. Most of her parts were manufactured in Britain, shipped across the world, and assembled in Japan. She launched in November 1912, began fitting out in 1913, and officially joined the fleet on the 4th of August, 1914. Hiei's main battery was revolutionary: 8 14-inch guns in 4 twin turrets. It was the first warships in the world to carry guns that large. They fired up to 2 shells per minute, reaching more than 38 kilometers. Designed with improved flash protection, these turrets were inspired by Britain's own 15-inch designs but refined the Japanese way. Her secondary battery packed 16 6-inch guns, firing 5 to 6 rounds a minute. Below the waterline were 8 21-inch torpedo tubes. Later upgrades added 8 5-inch dual-purpose guns capable of anti-air, anti-ship, and illumination fire, plus dozens of Type 96 anti-aircraft cannons. Born from British design, built with Japanese ambition, Hiei was a masterpiece of early 20th century naval engineering, combining speed, power, and fire like few ships of her time. After her commissioning in August 1914, Hiei immediately stepped into a world at war. Assigned to the Sasebo Naval District and the 3rd Battleship Division, Hiei sailed as Japan declared war on Germany. She supported operations as Japan seized former German island colonies across the Pacific. In late 1914, she and her sister Kongō moved to assist in the siege of Tsingtao, but were quickly recalled. In 1915, Hiei and Kongō sank the old Russian battleship Imperator Nikolai I, captured years earlier and renamed Ikki. From 1916 onward, Hiei patrolled the Chinese coast with her newly completed sisters Kirishima and Haruna. Throughout the rest of World War I, she mainly patrolled the Chinese and Korean coasts, protecting Japan's expanding interests. After the war, Japan gained German Pacific territories under the Treaty of Versailles. Relations with Britain and the US were still warm, so Hiei's operations slowed. Aside from a short patrol in 1919, she remained mostly in home waters. Placed in reserve in 1920, Hiei returned to service after the devastating Great Kanto earthquake of 1923. Her crew assisted in rescue work before she entered Kure for a refit. Her main guns gained higher elevation, and her foremast was rebuilt. The Washington Naval Treaty forced Japan to slash its capital fleet, banning new battleships and capping displacement at 35,000 tons. To comply, Hiei was marked for demilitarization. By 1927, even the Crown Prince served aboard her as she transitioned into a non-combat role, receiving aircraft facilities and performing coastal patrols, until 1929, when she returned to Kure to begin her transformation. Hiei entered dry dock at Kure. Her No. 4 turret, torpedo tubes, 6-inch guns, armor belt, and boilers were ripped out. Her speed dropped to just 18 knots, and she lost a funnel, effectively disarmed by design. Work halted after the 1930 London Naval Treaty, and HIEI drifted into reserve. But after Japan invaded Manchuria and quit the League of Nations in 1933, treaty limits collapsed. Japan was free to rebuild her fleet. HIEI served as a training vessel and even the Emperor's official ship during naval reviews and state visits. By 1935, she was back in active ceremonial duties. With restrictions gone, Japan rebuilt HIEI from the keel up. New oil-fired boilers, lengthened stern, upgraded turrets, a powerful tower mast superstructure, catapults for float planes, heavy AA guns, and a strengthened armor belt, all completed by 1940. She could now reach 30.5 knots. HIEI joined the Pearl Harbor Strike Force, then supported operations across the Pacific, Rabaul, the Marshalls, the Dutch East Indies, and helped destroy the USS Edsall. In April 1942, she sailed in the massive Indian Ocean raid, part of the fleet that sank HMS Hermes. She sortied at Midway, then fought at the Eastern Solomons and Santa Cruz as Japan's fast battleships struggled to hold their shrinking empire. On the 13th of November, 1942, HIEI charged into the nighttime chaos off Guadalcanal. She was hit by at least 85 shells, including 38-inch rounds, and as many as 9 torpedoes, most aimed at her steering gear. Jammed rudder, fires raging, and stuck circling helplessly, she endured waves of attacks from B-17s and torpedo bombers. By sunrise on November 14th, HIEI was dead in the water, fires spreading, rudder jammed, and surrounded by enemy aircraft. Her crew fought the flames for hours, but damage control failed. With new waves of dive bombers closing in, Admiral Abe ordered the crew to abandon ship. Survivors were pulled away by Japanese destroyers under constant air attack. With no hope of towing her to safety, destroyers tried to scuttle HIEI with torpedoes. Hours later, the once proud fast battleship slipped beneath the waves north of Savo Island, the first Japanese battleship ever lost in World War II. Out of more than 1,000 crewmen, roughly 188 sailors were killed in action. For many survivors, Guadalcanal became a trauma they rarely spoke about. HIEI's loss shocked the Imperial Navy, but her final stand, charging into a night battle, taking dozens of hits, and refusing to sink until the next day, cemented her place as one of Japan's most legendary fighting ships.